I'm Nikki Black, and with me is Rob Zombie. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
So, you and your band, this is not your first appearance at Mayhem, and you guys decided to do this instead of a headline tour on the Venomous Rat Regeneration Vendor Tour?
I didn't really think of it that way. The Mayhem thing came up way before we ever even did the record. They mentioned it about a year ago, maybe, because when one's happening, they're already thinking about the next one. So, it was sometime about a year ago.
Someone somewhere already knows
they
what you're
came
doing
up
2.5 years from now.
So they mentioned if we wanted to do it, and we said, yeah, sure, that'd be great. At that point, we hadn't even started the record yet, so... I figured we'd have a record by now, but it wasn't for sure. So, yeah, no. So the Mayhem came first.
Is that the kind of thing that ever puts any pressure on you when you are putting a record together?
No. There's no pressure anymore. I don't worry about stuff, It always seems, I have so many projects going, and all of them seem like they will never get done, but somehow they get done, so I don't stress anymore.
Was that just the natural progression of your projects then, to have the record and the movie all come out at the same time, almost?
Yeah, pretty much. I'd been doing all of them simultaneously for a couple of years, but I wanted them all to hit at the same time for that reason, because in the past I hadn't done it that way, and it was very chaotic, so.
So you've got this American Horror show coming up. Is American Horror... Tell me the title.
Well, it's called The Great American Nightmare, and what it is, it's a 2-week event. It takes place in California that has each night, there's haunted mazes that are built, these huge attractions that you go through, but each night there are bands playing, and there's wrestling, and then there's car shows, and it's just a huge extravaganza every night for 2 weeks.
So is this going to be like the new Rob Zombie version of like Sturgis?
Perhaps. We'll see. Everything depends on how successful it is. So far, so good. The tickets are selling really well, but I'd like to expand it next year, make it bigger, and then perhaps expand it around the country also.
So since you always have so many irons in the fire, what are the projects besides this event that you have coming up?
Well, besides this, there's a lot of touring that's getting scheduled, but besides that, I'm putting together the financing in the early stages of what would be my next movie called The Broad Street Bullies, which is a hockey film about the Philadelphia Flyers. And there's a lot of other little things, but that's sort of the big stuff.
So in the coming months, do you think we'll see you back around on a headline tour perhaps after Rockstar Energy Mayhem?
At some point, yeah. Once this finishes, we sort of leave the country for a while and head to South America and start hitting the rest of the world. So at some point, we'll be back headlining. But, it doesn't really matter because we do our full... we would probably play a little longer, but, as far as production-wise and the whole extravaganza, we brought the whole thing. So we didn't, we don't scale it down because it's a festival at all.
And now that you have such a body of work to choose from, does it get harder picking between your children to decide what goes in the set list?
Well, it really does. I just pick the songs that I think people want to hear. But last night was the first night of the tour, and we were finding that the brand new songs were proving to be a lot more popular than we thought. Because, the record's pretty new, so you don't think a song that's been out, for a month is going to be as popular as a song that's been out for 10 or 20 years. So that kind of messed with us a little bit. Now we're just confused as to what to play.
Do you think a lot in the internet age, it's because everybody can just chomp on the music right away? You don't have to wait for the record to seep out?
Yeah, that's the confusing thing, because if your record sold 3 million, that many people have it, but the fact that maybe 10 million people stole the new record, I don't know, so that's the thing. It's like it hasn't, the numbers of CD sales is no indication of anything anymore as far as the reach of the record. So, yeah, it's very confusing. I don't know. It's baffling. People know it a lot more than I expected.
Is that part of what has kind of pushed you into so many different mediums of expression? You just were going there anyway.
I was already doing that anyway. But I'm glad I was always doing that anyway, because if your only source of income was record sales, you're screwed.
In trouble. You're getting a day job, right?
You're not paying the rent anymore.
Is there anything that in looking back to when you first started in terms of recording and being involved in film, 20 years ago, that you just can't believe is so different now?
The only, most things, this is exactly the same as it would have been 20 years ago. Or, what we're doing
Festival,
right now, talking about this,
sure.
Playing shows, people hanging around. That's what I like. Touring is exactly the same. That never changes. It doesn't seem to change at all. But like I said, the internet for me is obviously a spectacular thing. But the thing that I miss is that when a new record was coming, whether it be my own or somebody else's, on that day that it hit, there was just excitement. You'd go, oh my God, look at all the kids standing in line at the record store to get the new Metallica record or the new whatever record. There was like a feeling that it was all happening. Now your record comes out and it's just like...
Yeah, we've been listening to it for 2 months on the internet.
Yeah,
Somebody leaked
there's no feeling that anyone's record. There's like sometimes a record comes out, I'm like, oh my God, that record came out. How would I even know? So that I don't like. I mean, it was exciting before that. Big deal. You go look at YouTube. Yeah, there's 90 million views or whatever, but it's still millions and millions of views on YouTube are still not as powerful as one viewing on MTV.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because 1 million people saw it on YouTube. 1 million people saw it once on MTV.
Right, and when
your
video would finally, like the first time we had like a video play at MTV, it almost would change the level of the band instantly. Like instantly, you were like a different band, and then like when they played it a couple times, like you would just.
It was a big deal.
You could feel it. It would change instantly. Now it's like, hey, another million people clicked on you. Who gives a?
Right.
Whatever word I can't say on radio. Which it's nice that it's there because you can go see whatever you want. But I missed that. It was just the adrenaline rush of things happening. You only get that live. That's why touring is still great, but the other aspects are kind of a drag now.
So here at a live show, there's still a lot of surprises. You have no idea if somebody's going to say fall down or have a guest spot or just have an incredible performance.
Yeah, I mean that's what's exciting. That's still fresh and that's still alive. And I guess until everybody has a 3D hologram television the size of a movie screen in their house and they can watch concerts that way, they still have to get off their big butts and leave the house and come to a concert, you know?
Yeah, and here you're still going to have people bumping into you, and there's value to that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got to get out of the freaking house away from your goddamn screen once in a while, you know?
Amen.
There is
to that.
a world out there other than your phone.
What is something that's grabbed you as like recent media, film, movie, music that or experience that you feel like finally has like tweaked this jaded old soul into still being excited about stuff?
Well, I mean, I always see stuff all the time I like. I mean, this I'm kind of late to the party on this one, but I really started really liking that band Eagles of Death Metal. I mean, it's not like they're brand new, but for some reason, I don't know, I usually don't get that much into new music because it doesn't hit me in a way that means anything to me, but I really like those guys.
Awesome. Rob Zombie, and he's going to be performing tonight at 9:50 at the Rockstar Energy Mayhem Festival here at Shoreline Amphitheater, where we'll be broadcasting live until 7 o'clock. If you get down here right now, you are still able to catch a lot of bands, and you can buy tickets at the door.
A lot of bands.
Emmure has just gone on the Musicians Institute stage, and Job for a Cowboy has just finished up at the Jaeger stage, which means if you're even remotely close to a local metalhead, you need to get here in the next 20 minutes so that you can still see Machine Head headline the Jaeger stage live at the Rockstar Energy Mayhem Festival with 107.7 The Bone.